Welcome along to part 3 of this 4-part series on sloping lies. Today I'm talking about ball above the feet. Probably the easiest lie of the lot. It's the one that is begging to be here. Almost feels like it's teed up for us. The only thing that golfers have wrestled with over the years is aiming right enough so that they see the ball coming back to the left. Now I have a little answer to having to fight that shot, and it's not the slope's fault, it's just how you've been playing it. So let's talk about the slope. Well, the slope, as you will have seen in my first 2 parts that you can find up over here, the slope is always pushing force towards us or away from us, into our left foot or into our right foot. In this situation, it's actually pushing weight into the heels of the feet. Now, most golfers will just accept where they're being pushed. Well, not today, folks. Not if you're a good golf coaching subscriber. This slope is now asking you to lean into it. Leaning into it is going to be the way that you're going to oppose that shot that I just hit on the screen there. If you accept the slope for what it is, and it pushes you into the heels of the feet, as well as the ball being above your feet, your golf swing is going to get way too shallow. It may help flatten out a steep backswing, but let me tell you, not all of the balls under the sun hitting on a sloping lie is going to remedy that. You need to go to the root cause, and that will lie elsewhere. And maybe check out some of my content if you're looking to fix your arm plane and a steep backswing. So conventionally, you would have moved the ball back in your stance and you would have aimed a long way to the right. Now, I'm not going to say you don't want to aim to the right, because the more the slope with the ball above the feet, the more it'll have an effect. But unless it's any more than a 4% gradient, which this one is here, I would be aiming straight. So we're going to keep the ball in the same position. What we're not going to do is aim to the right if it's only up to 4%. And we are going to start to feel like the weight is more into the toes of the feet. What this is going to allow you to feel is that when you start to make your swing, the slope is no longer going to make you feel like it flattens you out. It's actually going to make you feel like you can oppose that, and you can actually steepen your swing up. Now, you're not doing that in the sense that your golf swing's changing. You're just preparing yourself for the slope that you're on. So when you do lean into the slope, it now gives you an opportunity to feel like your left shoulder is going to work a bit more underneath you and your right shoulder a little bit higher, which will make you feel like the path of the club doesn't get sucked so inside, which feels like you're going to either block it miles right or have way too much hook. So a bit more pressure onto the toes of the feet. And now I'm just going to feel my right shoulder sense as though it's just a little bit higher in my backswing. And then on the way through, I'm going to sense my left shoulder is a little bit higher in my through swing. And what this is going to enable you to do is to feel like you can keep the path much straighter, and you can take control of your face-to-path value. So I haven't suddenly got a massive inside-out path. I haven't suddenly got a massively closed face-to-path. But more than any of that, it feels like I'm almost making a normal swing. Well, why wouldn't it be? You're just opposing the force. Yes, I know that there is some slight gearing differences with where the loft points, but the slope isn't big enough for that. You can offset that with a little bit of management of face-to-path values. So, ball position in the usual place, a little bit more pressure onto the toes of the feet, and because of that, you might need to move your feet a little bit further away, because you're going to get what feels like your chest a little bit closer to the golf ball. As I say, ball's in the normal position. Now I'm just going to feel like that left shoulder goes down a little bit more. And that right shoulder is going to feel like it's going to work up a little bit more, which feels like it keeps the club a little bit more down the ball line, dare I say it. It's not going to feel like it's quite so arced inside. And then on the way through, I'm going to feel like it's a little bit more down the line. I'm going to feel like my right shoulder's a bit more down, my left shoulder's a bit more up, which helps me feel that that slope is no longer going to have the same effect that I'm used to having to be submissive over. Goodness me, heaven to think I could hit a fade off of this lie. So you can start to really buy into that this slope is only pushing you in a direction, and you are starting to recognize you need to push back in the opposite direction. Remember, if the slope is really exaggerated, you're gonna, if you've played a golf course like Hindhead, down in Surrey, it's a fantastic golf course. The front nine is just an absolute thing of beauty, and get over there and play it if you can. It's in a valley, and you can find yourself with the ball literally up here. At that point, of course, you're going to have to aim right. But when the ball is that far above your feet, you are leaning into that slope like Billy-O. And let me tell you, I see more players playing better shots from lies like that because they're so exaggerated that they have to almost be on a mercy mission of just making contact. Don't start aiming a million miles right, dropping the ball back in the stance and all that nonsense. So ball in the normal position. We're not aiming a long way to the right. We're aiming pretty straight of 4% or less. I'm feeling my right shoulder high, left shoulder high. Let's make a good swing and see out the show. So hopefully this 4-part series, you're starting to really pick up some tips on making light of these sloping lies. The platform golf mat is a real beauty for me being able to bring. If you're tired of paying too much for your premium leather golf gloves, head over to gxgolfgloves.com. These are gloves trusted by tour players and elite amateurs alike. Use my code GOODCOACHING to receive 10% off your next order. Go try them out. You won't be disappointed. Bring this content to you, and I can't thank them enough for having their headquarters here at Precision Golf. Hopefully it's given you some insights into that ball above the feet lie. If it's offered something up, do consider subscribing to my channel, and that, my friends, is good coaching.